Do we blame Brock Purdy and his agent for wanting to reset the market?
I don't. No. I think players should always try to extract as much as they can from the team, unless you're in a position like Tom Brady was at, where he already established, set for life monetarily, and his focus is, hey, let's win as many Super Bowls as we can. When you're Brock Purdy, this may be your last contract. You don't know. And that goes for everybody. Just like Brandon Ayuk. I didn't blame Brandon Ayuk for wanting to get $30 million. I don't blame Brock Purdy for wanting to get 60 million plus, whatever it is. I don't blame him for that at all. I don't know. Do you?
No, I mean, I think what's interesting is I think people had a misconception of who Brock Purdy is and what he was going to do. He's got this whole persona that I don't even think he created, but people imposed onto him just because they think they know him. I mean, he's the last pick in the draft. He dresses a certain way. He wears his Christianity on his sleeve. I think people thought like, oh, here's a humble Christian guy who looks like he's 15. He won't want that much money. He doesn't play football for money. Like this is a professional athlete with a lot of pride who's extremely competitive. Like what professional athlete at the top of his game that doesn't want to be paid like it, especially after 3 years where he feels he was playing for essentially nothing. I'm not surprised at all. And this is his opportunity. You never know when you're going to get a chance to be paid like this. And why would you settle for anything less?
Yeah, and even in that comments by Tom, he said if Brock Purdy was offered a top 10 contract, like not the top contract, if he was offered a top 10 contract, he would say no. So they're establishing, basically what they're establishing right now is their starting point. It sounds like the offseason negotiation has started now. This is our starting point. At minimum, this is our starting point. We want to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. That's the starting point.
And that's the thing, like just because they're posturing that this is all they'll accept, in reality, it's just a starting point for negotiations. Right. And depending on what Brock wants to do, he could draw this out like Brandon Ayuk, or he could do this very quickly. Here's what we'd like. Here's the Niners counteroffer. Okay, let's meet in the middle. Like he very well could end up accepting the Baker Mayfield deal. Because you know what? The season may be over for the 49ers, but it's not over for Brock. He needs to play these final 3 games. And if he struggles against the Dolphins, I don't think there's as much he can do the next 3 games to increase his offer. But if he does poorly, I think that could only give the Niners more leverage to not make him the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah. And, to get back to the question, I don't blame Brock Purdy for wanting to reset the market. He should. And, also his agent is doing a job here as well. Like we don't necessarily know what Brock is his thoughts are on this. He's probably trusting his agent to a degree. And I bet when Brock Purdy's asked about this week, and I'm sure he will be, his response will be, I'm just focused on football. I'm just focused on beating the Dolphins. That's my agent.
That's my agent's job, and I'll do my job.
Yeah. So he'll still maintain that same character, I would imagine.
Yeah, and like it's not his job to find some agent who's not going to fight for him, who doesn't think he's the best quarterback, who doesn't think he's worth it. Like it's the agent's job to make the best case possible for Brock. And we know someone who makes an incredible case for Brock every day on Twitter, and he isn't even on Brock's team, doesn't even get paid by Brock. He just does it anyway, pro bono. And so if all those numbers are out there, I'm sure, Brock's agent can get him, X amount of games with a quarterback rating over 120 and the efficiency and the DVOA and the EPA and all that stuff. So he'll have a case. And if the agent is worth anything, he'll drive a hard bargain here. I think again, the fact that this is coming out shows that Brock doesn't have a very strong case. This feels a little desperate from the agent's perspective, if it's indeed coming from him, because again, you never heard from Nick. I don't even know who Nick Bosa's agent is. Never heard from him.
And the hard part too is, I guess we'll probably get into it, but I know you and I both pretty much at the same time went on to Twitter and said, do you think Brock Purdy deserves $55-60 million to play quarterback? Should the 49ers do that? And on my poll, I think it was like 80% of 49er fans are like, no, no, don't do that. So that's what he's up against as well.
Ryan, come back.
To be the top paid quarterback. Here I am.
Oh,
Here
there
I
you
am.
go. Sorry, you froze a little bit for a second.
Here I
You're
am.
back.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all good.
Yeah, what I was saying, it just doesn't feel like the 49ers fan base agrees with this report that Brock Purdy deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but like, didn't we go through this with Ayuk? Like when it first came out that Ayuk wanted $30 million a year, fans were like, no. And then after a while, they were like, just give it to him. It's the market. I don't know.
Yeah. But then what happened after he got it?
It really blew up in their faces.